Hello my dear friends, I am Professor Y.M. Khan and today we are starting our unit number 2 block diagram and signal flow graph of the subject automatic control system, and this is the part 1 of this unit number 2, and in today's part we are going to discuss block diagram representation. We'll begin with block diagram part first, and today we'll see the block diagram representation, how the physical system is converted into a block diagram. What do you mean by block diagram? How to draw a block diagram and basic components of a block diagram. Now, without wasting so much time, I'll request you to subscribe to my channel, like this video and share this video. Let us begin. Block diagram representation. What is a block diagram? Now, simply a block diagram is a pictorial representation of the entire system. Suppose there is a physical system which is a complex one, and it is not possible for us to draw all the physical components of that system in that system is very complex. It is very complicated system, so representing it every time with the physical components is not possible, and at such conditions we represent this physical system with the help of a block diagram. Now, whenever I am saying block diagram, it is a complete diagram of the complete system, okay, and it represents the relationship between the input and the output of the entire system. Suppose there is a system, physical system. Let us consider one example. Say we are having a room temperature controller, and this room temperature controller is a complete physical system. Now, this room temperature controller system has input in terms of voltage and it gives output in terms of heat. So the room heater that you use in some of us use in winter, so that room heater is a system, is our physical system, and that system we are representing with a block diagram. Now, the components in this room heater system are your heater, then your temperature controller coil, your potentiometer, and etc. So there are number of parts in this physical system. So this whole system will be represented with a block diagrams. Now, each component present in this physical system will be represented by a singular block. A single block will represent one important component of the physical system, and the whole output of the system will be calculated by these number of blocks. Say there is one potentiometer, there is one heating coil, then there is your feedback system, and the whole things are assembled in a specific sequence. So this will arrange these blocks in that specific sequence, okay. So a complicated system can be easily represented with the help of blocks, and a block depicts the interrelationship that exists among the various components. Suppose block A is connected with block 2, so that means that block B is dependent on block A, okay. So it depicts the relationship between the two different blocks, or say 3 different blocks, or the blocks present in the complete block diagram. Okay, how to draw a block diagram? In block diagram, each block is arranged in a proper sequence. So as per the physical system's flow, there will be there will be a single block for each component, and these blocks will be arranged in a proper sequence. Each block in block diagram represents the transfer function of the subsystem. Like I said, if you are having room heater or temperature controller, room temperature controller, so then there is your potentiometer, then there is your heating coil, there is your rheostat, etc. These all parts are subsystem of the physical control system. So this system, the whole system or the subsystems will be represented by a single block, okay. And the transfer function of the system present in the control system will calculate it with the help of the transfer function and mathematical modeling. The different blocks are interconnected to each other as per sequence of operation. Lines connecting to these blocks are called as branches, and arrows associated with these branches indicate the direction of flow of signal from one block to another. So let us see actual block diagram. This figure shows the basic elements of a block diagram. The basic elements of a block diagram are: number one, a block. See these blocks, boxes. So these boxes are called as blocks. Then there is summing point. There is one summing point. What is meaning of summing point? We'll see it later. And then there is a takeoff point, and this is your takeoff point. And this is your R of S, that means this is input. This is your C of S, that is your output. Then this one is feedback. Okay, H of S, this one is your gain transfer function, and this whole diagram represents a block diagram. Okay, now let us discuss this diagram in detail. Let us first discuss what do you mean by a block. What is the meaning of a block? Okay, the transfer function of a component is represented by a block. Whenever a single component is considered and that single component is represented by a block, that means we are representing the transfer function of that single component. Okay, and this G of S is nothing but the transfer function. What is transfer function? It is output divided by input. It is the Laplace of output to the Laplace of input. Okay, block has single input and single output. Whenever there is a block, it will be having single input and it will be having single output. Suppose this is the single input X of S. Okay, now sometimes we are using X of S, we are using R of S. Okay, sometimes we are using R of T or X of T. So whenever we are using T, that means it is in the form of, it is in time domain, and whenever we are using S, that is, it is a Laplace transform of that function. Okay, so do not get confused. We will just use input and output. Okay, so your transfer function, the formula of transfer function that we have studied says that it is the ratio of Laplace transform of output to the Laplace transform of input, which is represented by G of S. So this single block will give us G of S. Okay, and when we use this specific formula of G of S, we can calculate what is the meaning, what is the expected output from this component. Okay, suppose we know the formula, we know the transfer function of that component. Suppose there is a component, any component, and you know the transfer function of that component, and that transfer function formula, you know that, and you know the input. Okay, so you have two values. Out of these three values, you have input, you have transfer function. So it is possible for you to calculate what is the output. Okay, now the output can be calculated with this formula Y of S is equals to G of S into X of S. Whenever you multiply transfer function with input, you can get the output of this particular block. Okay, and that we are going to do in the numericals. So this is all about block. Let us go to the second important thing in a block diagram, that is the summing point. Now summing point, you can understand that with the word itself. Summing means it is having some addition or some signals are coming at a single point. So summing point is represented with a circle having cross X inside it. Okay, so this is your summing point. You can see here there is one input coming here, another feedback is coming here, and it is getting summed here, or it is being compared with each other. So this shows positive sign, here it is negative sign, so this is going to get compared. So R of S and H of S is going to be compared, is going to be detected here with the help of this summing point. Okay, it has two or more inputs and single output. at a summing point there is always single output and then can be multiple inputs, because these multiple inputs will be compared and there will be one single output based on the number of inputs. Suppose there are 3 positive inputs, say their units is 1, then another unit is 2 and another unit is 3. Okay, so these 3 signals with unit 1, unit 2 and unit 3 values are coming at a point, at a single point. Okay, and there is only one single output and all are having positive signal. That means this 1 is going to get added in 2 and this 2 is going to get added in 3. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 will be our output at that summing point, that is equals to 6. Okay, so based on the based on the symbols plus or minus, you can calculate the output of the summing point. It produces the algebraic sum of the inputs. It also performs summation or subtraction or combination of summation and subtraction of the inputs based on the polarity of the inputs, like this. If R of S is 1 and if H of S is 2, so the output will be minus 1, because this one is positive, this one is negative, so 1 minus 2 will be minus 1, so your output will be minus 1. Okay, so let us see these 3 operations one by one. The summing point performs 3 operations: summation, subtraction or combination of summation and subtraction. Okay, so let us first study what is summation at a summing point. This is a summing point here represented by a circle and cross inside it. There is one signal A which is positive, there is another signal B which is also positive, and these 2 signals are input signals which are coming into the summing point, which are coming at a summing point, and there is only one output signal Y. So this Y is equal to A plus B. So if you put some value for A and if you put some value for B, so these values will be added. So you will get addition here. So summing point will sum up the values of A and B and will give the output with respect to the values of A and B. Okay, so this summing point is acting as a you can say summation point. Then there is subtraction point, or you can say when summing point is acting at as a subtraction. Okay, so this A and B is your inputs, then there is your Y. Usually as usual this is your output, because it is coming out from the summing point and the value of A is positive but the value of B is negative. So instead of summation here subtraction is going to happen. So whatever the values of A and B, they will be put here and the subtraction will happen like A minus B. So Y will be equal to A minus B. Okay, this is the second type of summing point, and there is the third one which is having combination of subtraction and summation. Here we have 3 different signals A, B and C, in which A is positive, B is positive and C is negative. So A will be added in B, but out from this summation the C will be subtracted because it is having negative sign. So therefore your output, that is Y, will be equal to A plus B minus C. So these are the 3 combinations possible with the summing point. There are some few more, but they are not right now related with our subject. If the things are needed, so we'll study it later on. Okay, so just remember these 3 points: your summation, subtraction and combination of summation and subtraction. Okay, so this is about your summing point, and there is the third important element, that is the takeoff point. So takeoff point is a point from which the same input signal can be passed through more than one branch. So there is your R of S, that is your input signal, and from this point we are taking the same input and we are giving it to another block, and the same input is given to another block. say this is one component, so it is also getting the same input as that of GB and GC. Okay, so based on the transfer function of these three, our output will be either it will be same or it will be different. So we'll get the outputs based on the transfer function, but the input here is same, and from this point we are just taking off the input and we are giving it to another block. So such a kind of point is called as takeoff point. The takeoff point is a point from which the same input signal can be passed through more than one branch. That means with the help of takeoff point we can apply the same input to more than one blocks. Okay, now in this following figure you can see there is RS, your input. So the same input is given, the first input is given to GA, this block A, then the same input is given to block B, and same input is given to block C, but the it is given from this specific takeoff point. We are getting output based on the transfer function. Okay, this is one use of takeoff point, but the important use of takeoff point is for feedback. We are now whenever I am saying input, it does not mean that output cannot be a input. It does not mean that. Okay, remember, whatever coming in is your input. Whatever coming in is your input. Okay, and whatever going out is your output for that specific system, for that specific component. Like this, for this G of S, this is your input, this is your output. Okay, now let us see the feedback system here. Now for this feedback system, for this G of S, this is input and this is output. But for this H of S, that is your feedback element, the same output is treated as input. So input, your output becomes here input for another system. So like that, whatever coming in is your input, whatever going out is your output. So you can use this thing for you can use the takeoff point as a point of input for your feedback element. Okay, now in this figure there is one block G of S, and from this block we are taking a takeoff point at the output. Okay, at this output we are taking the output signal and we are giving it to the error detector. We are giving it to the error detector. So this will be treated as a input signal for the error detector, or you can say it will be treated for summing point. Now based on the amount of this signal or based on the unit that is given to it, so the input of this summing, output of this summing point will be calculated, because here we can see plus sign, here we can see minus sign. So R of S will be R of S will be plus, then your H of S will be negative, and as per the number, as per the values of these, the next input signal will be corrected. Okay, so it is important to understand what is takeoff point for a feedback. Now let us actually see how a block diagram is drawn or how a block diagram is generated from a physical system. Now we have to consider this physical system. It is having a potentiometer shown here. Okay, then there is your differential amplifier. This is symbol of amplifier. Then there is a DC motor which is connected to, which is coupled to a tachometer. Now the sequence is signal is coming from potentiometer, then it is being amplified, then it is given to DC motor, and the speed of the RPM of this DC motor is measured with the help of a tachometer, and that tachometer is giving back signal to the amplifier so that it is compared with the input. Okay, now this is a velocity control system of a tape recorder actually. Okay, now this is a component of a system, then this is another component of the system, this is another component, and this is another component. So this component, this potentiometer is connected to your amplifier, then this amplifier is connected to DC motor, this DC motor is connected to tachometer, which is again connected to the amplifier. So this is the sequence of the physical system. Now let us consider one by one these components. So potentiometer will be represented by a block, and its transfer function is K1, and it will be shown like this. So I'll be sharing the transfer functions of various components, various physical and electrical components with you and later on, but for now let's just consider these transfer functions. So potentiometer is represented by a block. It is having some input, some output. Then there is your differential amplifier, which is having input and output. So that differential amplifier will be treated as a summing point, or its input will be treated as a summing point, and there will be one block which will represent the amplifier, differential amplifier. There is input, there is output. Now its output, K1's output will be given to K2 as the input. So K2's output will be given to the DC motor, and DC motor's output will be given to the tachometer. Okay. Now for a DC motor, the transfer function is like this: Km divided by S, tau m S plus 1. So this is your torque. Then your tachometer, its transfer function is simply K into S. Okay. So these are individual blocks. Now we have to arrange these blocks in a sequence. Like I said, the output of K1 will be input for K2, output of K2 will be input for DC motor, and output of this DC motor will be input for tachometer, and its output will be again given to the differential amplifier. So this will get connected to this point with the help of a takeoff point. Okay. So let us see how this diagram is drawn, how you draw the actual diagram. So this is your potentiometer. It is having some input in terms of your voltage. Then its output is coming to this summing point, because this is a differential amplifier. The input is positive here, and this K2 is getting a corrected signal because the tachometer is giving us a feedback signal which is minus. So there will be this particular point, this particular differential amplifier will act as a summing point. In which way? In subtraction way. Okay. So this plus sign, plus signal will be compared with this minus signal, and the corrected signal will be given to the DC motor. Now this DC motor will run, okay, because there is some input signal given to it, and it will run, and it will produce some, yes, RPMs, it will produce some torque, and that output, rotation of the shaft will be measured with the help of a tachometer, and that same signal will be given to this thing. Okay. And remaining signal is used as per the requirement. Okay. Only we are taking the signal for summing point. So this is your takeoff point, this is your summing point, and all these things are blocks. Okay. And the whole diagram is a block diagram. So this is the way you represent a block diagram. Please stay safe, stay at home, and keep learning.